think something that has been on everyone's minds going into season 19 of Sister Wives is how will the show handle the death of Garrison Brown? Kody and Janelle's son's tragic passing was mentioned in the press release for this upcoming season. The show has been running consistently about 18 months to 2 years behind for the last several seasons. But from what has been teased, it seems like season 19 is going to cover events in the Brown family's lives from about late 2022 to early 2024. So we are going to catch up closer to real time than we have ever before. Everything that has been put out in the trailers thus far seems like it was content filmed prior to the events of March 2024. So it has had people wondering just how will the family and the show address this tragedy. Janelle and Madison Brown posted very touching tributes to Garrison, marking the 6-month anniversary since his passing. Up until this point, we hadn't heard from Kody publicly, aside from that joint statement that he and Janelle put out announcing Garrison's death back in March. Janelle and Kody just gave exclusive statements to People magazine about the loss of Garrison, and people are taking note of just how vastly these statements differ in sentiment. We have a lot to talk about. Let's get into today's video. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. I had mentioned in a previous video that when news broke of Garrison's death, I honestly thought that that probably meant the show was going to end. I don't think anyone would have blamed the family for wrapping it up, grieving privately, and trying to navigate life without their son and brother. I'm not sure how long after Garrison's death it was announced, but we did learn that the family did intend to continue the show. And let me tell you, if my comment section was any indication, viewers had very mixed feelings about this. Some people have felt that the family is being opportunistic for continuing to film the show, and they have accused the network of exploiting Garrison's death, even though that hasn't actually been covered on the show yet. I have always been of the opinion I will support what the family is comfortable sharing. I'm really following Janelle's lead, and it seems like she wants Garrison's life celebrated and honored. I also understand that if viewers just can't watch the show anymore, that is completely valid. Luckily, nobody is compelled to watch the show. It's a choice each viewer can make for themselves. 6 months after Garrison's tragic death and a few days before the premiere of season 19, Janelle and Kody have both given statements about their son. And let's just say you will get very different sentiments from each statement. Let's start with Janelle. This article really evokes a struggle that is, I think, all too common for families and friends that lose a loved one in this manner. There's shock and confusion, but Janelle also speaks of hope and the importance of discussing mental health, especially for young men. And I think that that is such an important discussion that needs to be had. We just had no idea that he was in that place, Janelle, 55, tells People, adding that substance abuse likely played a role in his state of mind before his death. But he didn't ever express any kind of extreme sad feelings. In fact, he was very funny, very upbeat, she adds. He had a career path that he was excited about. He had a life. He had friends. Janelle says she and her family members never had any idea that it would go this way, noting that there weren't any obvious warning signs and Garrison frequently spoke to family. Towards the end of his life, she says her son checked in with his loved ones and adopted another cat and felt really excited about his career prospects. We actually were having conversations. He had all the resources that he could have needed, she recalls. This was just such a shock. We never expected this. And in the article, Janelle goes on to discuss the importance of talking about mental health. We should be speaking more, especially about mental health for men, and there's no shame in getting help and seeking help, she says. We just had no idea. This was such a shock to us. Now, Janelle and her family members do real check-ins whenever they connect. We're very real and we assess, she explains. Life situations come up and we're always like, okay, so what about mental health? We actually say the words and we wait to hear what's really happening, not just kind of gloss over it. And I think we're putting more stock in mental health in our family. Garrison's sister Madison has also been very focused on spreading the message of getting your loved ones help for mental health struggles if they need it. If this is how the family chooses to honor Garrison, I think that this is a really noble cause. I think it's incredibly brave and kind to share your personal grief in the hopes of saving lives. Way too often, people struggle with their mental health issues in silence. Even though cognitively you know that you're not the only one out there with problems, mental health issues have a way of making you feel very isolated and alone. So shining a light and breaking the stigma is a really necessary conversation to have. I saw Janelle's article a couple days ago, and then I started working on a video because I was just so touched by her message. I think it was very real about feeling blindsided, and I felt like it also inspired hope. Like, check in with your loved ones. If the burden you carry is too heavy, reach out. Let us share the load. And then the next day, People magazine put out an exclusive article about a conversation that they had with Kody. And this is the first time we have heard from Kody regarding Garrison's death. The hard part is giving away that future I saw for him, the excitement. Kody, 55, says, "It's strange having your child pass. The wave of grief is different than any wave of grief I have ever had, with a best friend passing, with a relative passing. It's different, and it is different in the idea that it is irreconcilable. The future that we missed with him. We could have been talking more. I'd get texts, stuff like that. And we could have, retrospectively, we could have done so much more," he said. And it was almost like, I'm busy with my life, he's busy with his life, and when we connect, we'll connect. It was kind of like we've got forever. It was more like it was a convenience of time that I felt like I had, he added. Retrospectively, there would have been a regular catching up and touching base. Kody's only regret when he thinks back is that he wishes he'd taken advantage of the time he had with Garrison, one of the 6 kids he shares with Janelle, 55. "I want to go out to dinner again. I want to sit down. I want to have a beer. I want him to try and make me laugh because he was kind of that way. The only regret is just, gosh, I would just do that more often," he says. The only regret is that you didn't do something. You didn't take more time. Look, it's really hard to criticize a parent that has lost a child. I don't think any of us want to do that, but I have to be honest. I almost physically recoiled reading what Kody had to say here. I know that everyone grieves differently, but this statement just crosses a line I'm just not really able to comprehend. There's a lot of I's and we's mentioned, a lot of what Garrison could have done for Kody. It was like we thought we had all the time in the world and I would get around to patching things up eventually type of attitude. But we saw how much all of these kids have tried to have a relationship with Kody only to be rejected by him. I mean, I just don't know how else to put it. I saw someone comment on Reddit about their spouse's complicated relationship with a parent and how much this article resonated with them. And this person said, quote, "The deeply painful reality in both of these scenarios is there are sons that begged for reconciliation and parents that rejected it because it didn't serve them." I feel like there is a huge amount of attempting to rewrite history here with Kody's statements. It feels like Kody is trying to paint the picture that he and Garrison simply drifted apart, almost like college friends that lost touch after each went off and started their own lives. Like, yeah, we really needed to reconnect, and damn, I'm sorry we didn't get the opportunity. But the reality is, this child, Kody's child, was begging for a relationship with him. He bought a house in the same city his dad lived in. He could have easily gone and bought a house closer to one of his siblings. The last 2 years of the show depicted all of the kids, but particularly Garrison's quest to salvage a relationship with his dad. In this article, Kody talks about how he thought he had all the time in the world with Garrison. Well, he does have time with his 12 other children that he had with Mary, Janelle, and Christine. And as of this time, there is no relationship there. Mykelti talks about a relationship-ending event that happened at Garrison's funeral, and it's unclear if that was just specific to Robyn or if that also included Kody. But she has also talked about the fact that events that should have brought the family together didn't. Kody's statements about being bummed out he won't get to have dinner with Garrison again ring hollow for me because he has the opportunity to do that with his surviving children, and he hasn't made any effort to. Also, regarding wishing that he could have a beer with Garrison, I don't know how much Kody was aware of Garrison's alcohol use disorder, but it did come out that Garrison had a high blood alcohol content at the time of his death. I myself have been in recovery from alcohol for 2.5 years. I'm really grateful for that. Even if someone has good memories of drinking with me, I hope nobody would hope that they could sit down and have one last glass of wine with me, because drinking did nothing positive for my life. Since drinking was a problem for me, it's certainly not how I would want people to remember me. Honestly, I wish People magazine just left it with Janelle's statement. I do feel a certain level of pity towards Kody, because if he doesn't get it now, he's never going to. And it seems like, based off comments Mykelti has made, the rest of his children actually realize that now. It's all very sad, and my heart breaks for this family. It really does. Let me know your thoughts on these two statements down in the comments. As always, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. Be sure to check out my second channel, Sarah Spills. A link for that will be in the description of this video. Follow me on Instagram, Threads, and X at Reality Squad, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Have a good one. Much love.